Hey everybody, it's another episode of Cooking with Tovia, and we're going to be making smoky baked chicken with homemade mashed potatoes. All the components for today's recipe will be found in the description field as well as through the ticker in the video. So, I have 2 chicken breasts, and these are split chicken breasts with the bone on and the skin still on. You can use any type of chicken for this recipe if you don't want to use chicken breasts. So I'm going to drizzle over couple teaspoons of olive oil. So for the spices, I don't really have measurements, so I'm sort of eyeballing this. So I'm just going to give you sort of the estimates of the ingredients. So I'm using roughly a tablespoon of cumin, a couple of tablespoons of paprika. I love paprika. I'm going to add about 1.5 teaspoons of turmeric, ground turmeric. Onion powder, I'm going to add a tablespoon of onion powder, a tablespoon of garlic powder. Salt, I'm going to use about 1.5 teaspoons of salt. Oregano, about 2 teaspoons of dried oregano, and black pepper, about a teaspoon of black pepper. Rub all that into your chicken. We're going to just rub everything in really thoroughly. And we add the olive oil because olive oil sort of helps everything, moisten everything up, and also it will help everything stick to the chicken. So I'm just rubbing all the spices in really good and rubbing the chicken together. So once I have everything rubbed in really good, I'll be back. I'm using my cast iron skillet, and I melted down 2.5 tablespoons of butter, and I'm on medium-high heat. I'm going to place my chicken breast into the pan, skin side down first. And I did straighten the skin up before I put it into the pan. So I'm going to let the chicken breast sit and sear. Just get a little brownness. We're going to let it sit for about 4 minutes. So my chicken breast was cooked for about 3 minutes, and it's starting to get nice brownness. So I'm going to go ahead and give them a flip. This is going to be so delicious. So I'm going to let this sit and sear for about 2 minutes, and we'll be back. My chicken breasts have sat and cooked for another 2 minutes. So now this is going to go in my preheated 425 degree Fahrenheit oven. And if your oven has a fan on it, it's idea to turn the fan on, convection. So I'm going to have mine with the fan on. And we're going to let this go for about 20 minutes. I'm going to check the temps and see where it's at. So typically it will take about 20 to 28 minutes for these type of chicken breasts to cook, depending on the thickness and depending on your oven. So our chicken is done. It took 23 minutes for them to completely cook, and I took the temp and they reached 170 degrees Fahrenheit. So I just turned off my oven, left the door cracked, and just finished cooking the potatoes. So for the mashed potatoes, I have 6 medium-sized potatoes that I have peeled. I'm soaking in water. So what I'm going to do is just go in with my knife and just finish peeling off the ends, the parts that are bad. But I have this soaking in water for 1 hour. You want to let the potatoes soak for 1 hour. I'm using russet potatoes. So it's ideal to use russet potatoes to make your mashed potatoes. Certain types of potatoes, like red potatoes, they really won't whip in the same consistency because red potatoes have less starch. So you want to use a nice starchy potato. So I brought 6 cups of water to a boil, and I started adding some chicken bouillon to it, just enough to salt the water. It's about 4 tablespoons of chicken bouillon I added. We're going to let this cook in the boiling stock for about 25 minutes, or until the potatoes are completely tender when you take a knife and pierce them. So my potatoes are done. I'm going to take a knife, it just goes through it real easy. So I'm going to drain the potatoes. We'll be back. So after draining the potatoes, I'm just putting them back on the heat on high, and I'm just going to dry off all the water. So I got my potatoes dried. I set them aside. So here I'm melting down on medium heat 3.5 tablespoons of butter. I'm using unsalted butter. So once it melts down and it begins to shimmer, I'm going to add 2 cloves of garlic that I just chopped, and I smash it up, and just kind of get it to nice small pieces. So I'm just going to shake my saucepan around. I'm going to let this garlic and butter cook together on low heat for about 5 minutes. So my butter and garlic has cooked together for about 5 minutes, and I just cooked it on low heat. Now I'm going to put the potatoes into the pot here, the cooked potatoes. And I'm going to crank up the heat to about medium. So I'm going to begin to turn off the heat for a minute. I'm going to just use my spoon to begin to break down the potatoes. So they're almost completely mashed. I'm going to go ahead and turn the heat back on to medium-low. Now we cook this in chicken stock, so I'm not going to add salt just yet. I'm going to mash them up and add the milk and stuff, and then we're going to taste it. So I'm going to add some milk. I'm going to start off with just about 5 tablespoons of milk. Just whip everything. Just continue to mix everything. And I like to have chunks in my potatoes. I don't want it to be completely whipped. By all means, if you want, just make them to your desired consistency. Add some pepper, and I'm going to add some dried chives. The dried chives, I add a couple of tablespoons because I love chives. Taste for salt. And I don't think they need any salt because when I made my bouillon water, I added a lot of bouillon, to make it salty. So this is perfect. So I'm going to plate everything up. We'll be back. So here's everything together. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Hit the thumbs up, please, and share this video. Leave a comment down below. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut into the chicken and give it a taste. So the chicken I'm using a butter knife. So as you see, it's very tender. Look, close-up shot. Very good. Smells amazing. Delicious. Nice smoky flavors going on there with the cumin and the turmeric. I just love how that pairs together. And taste the mashed potatoes. My favorite. Delicious. Buttery, garlicky. It's perfectly salted because we cooked those potatoes in that the stock that we had all that bouillon to. Absolutely delicious. Please try this recipe. Let me know how it turns out. And I really appreciate all you guys for watching. I hit 60,000 subscribers, so I have something very special coming soon. Please remember to live and be well. Let's come together and love each other. Thank you so much for watching.